what is a blowout? What can it do? How do we prevent?
Okay. A blowout, simply put, is an uncontrolled release of hydrocarbons from the wellbore, or basically a loss of surface well control, if you will. The ways that let's talk about how it's managed. Basically, a blowout is managed like every other type of major incident, such as a train derailment, an aircraft crash, a forest fire, that sort of thing. We all use what's called the incident command structure, which that employs several key elements, such as notifications notifications internally of the operator, external notifications to us, notifications to regulators, notifications to emergency management authorities in the given area of the incident, those sort of things. Then from the response aspect and dealing in the same manner in dealing with the incident command structure, basically it is a formulated response that includes some very first steps that are key in the first 36 to 72 hours. One and foremost is the safety of personnel. That goes to evacuation of personnel from the site where the hazard has presented itself. Secondly, it gets to assessment of that event. All blowouts and well fires, I can say by experience, none of them are the same. They're all different. They all have different complexities, different eventualities, and different elements that drive the response. So therefore, the assessment is a very important part. Once the assessment has been done, naturally we will get with our customers and we will talk to them about what our recommendations for resolution are, and we'll develop a formulated and written plan and agreed upon plan as to methods to go ahead and attack the problem and resolve the issue. Now, when it comes to the risk, again, I want to say that the risk is something that's a misnomer. We are not risk takers. We do not dive on the knife, so to speak. We assess our risk. We mitigate or eliminate all the risk, basically to our personnel. We don't allow a bunch of people up around the well when we work on it, and that's to protect ourselves and protect others, in that are working on that particular blowout or well fire. In regards to the primary causes of well control risk or events and how those risks are addressed, we have four different elements. One is planning of the well. Nobody ever plans to fail, right? When it comes to that's engineering controls, engineering experience. Basically, then the personnel aspect is a primary component. One thing about personnel, we have to, in our industry, I believe that we have a very good program within the IADC with respect to well control training. However, I think that training needs to be more robust. In the training aspect, we basically, IDC in their program, their curriculum, it teaches theory and practice. I think that we probably could improve upon that a little bit. And I'm not criticizing IDC or any of the companies that train. We train as well, but I think personnel is a big component. Basically, in training, you are able, when you are trained and you're experienced, you're able to recognize the first signs that may lead to a catastrophic event. And in other words, if you can recognize those signs, those warning signs, you can basically, you may have the skills to go ahead and perform tasks that prevent the event from escalating. So that's in the primary causes. It's not recognizing certain drilling or completion parameters, such as flow rates, gas accumulations, increase in gas, increase in oil expelling from the well, those sorts of things, and completing. So there's a broad number, but I think the main thing is that we can do is basically, get back to training our people a little better, being sure that our equipment is of the highest standard. And in regards to that, there is a lot of, because of industry, the industry situation right now with COVID and prices, our blowout prevention equipment, certification of that on workovers and completions, as we are taking steps within Patterson Prime to certify all of our equipment. We have the luxury of doing that because of our investment with RPC. But I think certification of blowout equipment, blowout prevention equipment is very key to what we're doing to prevent those risks and prevent escalation.
Thank you. That's a very good answer.
Let me add something from the ops side, if you don't mind. I think to Larry's point, those well sharp classes, that well control training is critical. Yes, but there's a lot of opportunity around those regular training classes, maybe smaller, more bite-sized, regularly scheduled training with the drillers on recognizing kicks and shutting them in and responding. I think that as an industry, we've perceived that you've got a driver's license, you're ready to drive, and that may be so, but we require some regular training, updated training and familiarization with the equipment that we're using, and then drills. And some of that's not just so much on the technical side, but getting calibrated on your risk tolerances, so you understand, hey, here's what's acceptable, here's what's not acceptable, and that being communicated by the rig manager to the driller, so that driller begins to understand we're expecting X amount of barrels gained. Anything above that's where we need to start shutting it in, start asking what we're doing. And that calibration, that training, those exercises, those drills are where the real value is at. Not necessarily that academic training every few years, but really the execution on the regular training and then the drills.
And along with that, I might add that, as Micah has just stated, that training is key. But again, just because, like you said, just because you have a driver's license doesn't make you a good driver, right? The main thing, to remember is, when you do take a kick, whether it be in a drilling environment or completion or workover, the best thing to do, we do this for a living every day. We're involved with some kind of bad deal every day around the globe. And what we would like for our customers to do is to reach out to us whenever they shut the well in, to say, hey, I've shut the well in. Here's what I think I've got. I think it's going to be a minor deal, circulate out a kick. We're in good shape, but we just wanted to notify you. If things, we have that discussion with the clients that do call us early, and naturally we want to prevent escalation. But if you get into a situation that is out of the normal, excessive surface pressures, the well's not responding correctly to resolution methods, kick circulation, so forth and so on, it's time to get professionals involved. It's time to seek advice. And I think in most cases, that is the case. But every now and again, we will have someone that gets out there, they will get themselves in such a bad bind that it's almost impossible to fix. And they want us to come out there and perform magic and get it done within 24 hours. And it took them 4 or 5 days to get this thing boogered up. And the resolution process is going to take significantly longer. So in essence, what I'm saying, the old saying is the smart ones call us early, and we firmly believe that. And we've got a lot of intelligent people out there in our industry that are calling the shots. And we suggest that you do call us early. Thank you.
I think we are going to stop this particular topic right now, except that there is a very interesting question. The questioner asks, why are completion and production related blowouts more common than drilling blowouts? And I didn't even know that.
Well, as you know, let's go back a few decades. a few decades ago, we were drilling conventional gas and conventional oil. We were drilling a lot of deeper horizons or exploring a lot of deeper horizons that equated to higher pressures and higher volumes. In the environment that we've been in the last, I'd say last 10 or 15 years with respect to resource plays, basically you take the Bakken or the Eagle Ford or the Permian or the Delaware basins in as a whole, and in a lot of these basins, well, in all these basins I just named, the target formations are very tight. In other words, you have to create permeability. And so permeability is created through hydraulic fracturing. And until such time that these wells are fractured during the drilling process, the probability that you're going to have a severe well control incident is not as likely. As a rule of the thumb, even going back several decades, a lot of our business, and it still remains so with the resource plays, has been completion, workover, production related events. It's either been a surface failure due to hydraulic fracturing. It's been a surface failure due to the producing of sand that has basically damaged the internal workings of valves on our trees or on our wellheads. It has been problems, for example, casing collar failures on production casing, improper metallurgical makeups, different grades of casing that have caused partial pressure hydrogen sulfide cracking. They're numerous, but at the end of the day, about 85-90% of the events we respond to are all either completion, workover, or production related, and that's because during the drilling process you have less risk because of the tight formations.